Welcome to Spooky Stories. We're your hosts, Jackie and Martha. For the next 11 days leading up to Halloween, we'll be sharing spooky stories, but not always spooky, from books and periodicals within the collections here at Seton Hall University. We'll start off with reading the story, and then we'll follow it up with some commentary. Happy Halloween! It's day 11 of Spooky Stories, and it is our last day. So here's another story we're going to share that was already shared a year or two ago, being read by a student. But like yesterday's, it's too good not to reshare. This is The Legend of Jack-o'-the-Lantern. Once upon a time, there lived a man whose natural disposition was churlish and morose, and the asperities of whose soul had not been softened down by the influence of a knowledge of God. And his acquirements in the things of this world did not much exceed the narrow skill which enabled him to cultivate the farm on which he lived. He was known throughout the country for his unsocial manners. His blazing hearth never cheered the wayworn stranger, and the repulsed beggar never again sought his inhospitable door. In short, he lived the reproach of humanity, and his name was a byword in the land. Jack, for so this churl was named, was returning home one night from a neighboring fair when, as he approached a dark and rapid stream at a particular ford, which the imagination of the people of that time had associated with some tales of murder and superstition, he heard a groan that, to his fancy, proceeded from some tortured spirit. He suddenly drew in on the mare on which he rode. All the horrid tales recorded of that dark glen rushed to his memory, and as a second and a third sound of agony smote his ear, his bristling hair stood erect. The cold beads of dismay oozed at every pore, nor did the whiskey which he had quaffed that evening in his own sordid way prevent the current of blood from freezing at his very heart. But when the horrid sounds were again repeated, he summoned nerve sufficient to inquire what he could do for the tortured soul that crossed his path in that glen of gloom and horror. "For the love of heaven," said the voice, "take me to some human habitation, for I am no tortured spirit, but a poor, homeless wanderer, who have lost my way on the wild moor, and have laid down here to die, for I durst not cross this rapid water. So may mercy be shown to you in your hour of need, and in the day of your distress." Delivered from supernatural terrors, the peasant's soul softened into humanity. With an indescribable feeling of pity, which never till that hour reached his heart, he dismounted, and saw, extended on the damp earth, a very aged man, with a white beard, who was evidently borne down with the load of years and misery. He wrapped the aged sufferer in his warm greatcoat, placed him on the saddle, and then mounted on the crupper. He supported the object of his pity till he reached home. His wife smiled to behold her gruff husband engaged in the unusual office of hospitality, and wondered much what charm could have soothed his unsocial soul to kindness. The miserable stranger received every necessary that her cupboard afforded, was laid to rest in a warm bed, and in short time his grief and infirmities were forgotten in sound repose. About the dawn of day, Jack was awakened from his sleep by a bright blaze of light that shone through all the cabin. Unable to account for this sudden illumination, he started to his feet from the bed, when his progress was instantly checked, and his astonishment greatly augmented to behold a young man of celestial beauty wrapped in white garments. His shoulders were furnished with wings, the plumage of which exceeded in whiteness the down of swans, and as he spoke, his words stole like the notes of a heavenly harp to the soul of the wondering cottager. "Whortle," said the celestial visitant, "I am one of the angels commissioned to watch over the sons of Adam. I heard thy brethren exclaim against thy unsocial temper, and utter disregard of the sacred virtue of hospitality. But I find that some generous seeds of virtue have lain uncultivated with thee. In me thou behold'st the miserable senior whom thy generous humanity relieved. I have shared thy frugal fare and lowly bed. My blessings shall remain with thy house, but to thyself in particular I bestow 3 wishes. Then freely ask, as I shall freely give. My wisdom bound the desire of thy soul." Jack paused for a moment, and then said, "There's a sycamore tree before the door, fair and wide-spreading, but every passer-by must pluck a bough from it. Grant that everyone touching it with such intent may cling to the tree till I release him. Secondly, I do wish that any person who sits in my elbow chair may never be able to leave it, nor the chair to leave the ground without my consent. There's a wooden box on the wall. I keep it to hold the thread, the awls, and hammer with which I mend my brogues. But the moment I turn my back, every clown comes here cobbling for himself. My third request is that the person who puts his hand into the box might not withdraw it, and that the box may stick to the wall during my pleasure. My wishes are ended. The angel sighed as he granted the boon, and the legend further adds that Jack, from that hour, was excluded from all hope of heaven because he had eternal happiness within his wish and neglected to secure the vast gift. But the angel's blessings remained with his house, his children were many, and his crops and cattle throve with large increase. In 20 years after, as Jack sat one evening in his elbow chair, musing on his earthly affairs, a strange and unearthly smell of brimstone assailed his nose, and when he turned round to ascertain the cause, the appearance of a tall, dark-looking being, graced with a pair of horns, a cloven foot, and a long tail, which he carried rather jauntily tucked under his arm, further increased his astonishment. The stranger immediately opened his message, mentioned Jack's exclusion from heaven, and spoke of his infernal master's anxiety to see him speedily at his own hot home. When Jack heard these awful tidings, he repressed every symptom of alarm, and starting to his feet bid the stranger welcome. I hope, he continued, your honor won't be above sitting in the elbow chair and tasting a drop of poteen this cold evening, as while I put on my Sunday clothes. The demon complied. There, said his host, is a real drop of the native. The Sora gauger ever set his ugly face on. Why, then, would your honor tell me if ye have any gaugers in your native place? We have lots of them, replied he of the cloven hoof, but we give them other employment than still hunting. But come, the road is long and we must away. So saying, he motioned to leave his seat, but found himself immovably fixed therein, while the guileful mortal set his flail to work on his captive enemy. Vain every entreaty for mercy, in vain he kicked and flung his arms around. The swift descending instrument of vengeance smashed every bone in his skin. And it was only when exhausted and unable to prosecute his task that he consented to liberate the miserable being on his solemn oath that he would never more visit the upper world on a similar errand. Satan had more than one courier to do his errands. A second messenger, provided with the necessary instruction for shunning the fatal chair and flail, was dispatched to fetch the doomed mortal who was ruminating next day on the adventure of the preceding evening, when the latch was raised and a stranger cautiously entered. When he had explained his business, Jack requested that he would be seated, and expressed his willingness to depart when he had put a stitch or two in his old brogue. The courier was too cautious, and declined to sit. But Jack took the chair, pulled off his broken shoe, requested the demon to hand him the awl from the box. The infernal visitant obeyed, but found that he could neither withdraw his hand nor remove the box from the wall. He cast a glance of dismay at his mortal antagonist, who sprung to the flail and bestowed such discipline as forced the present visitor to submit to the same conditions for his release that his brother devil had done. It is said that his sable majesty was greatly surprised at the discomfiture of his two trusty messengers, and like a skillful general, he resolved to go in person and explore the enemy's camp. He ascended from the netherworld, through Mangerton Mountain near Killarney, where that barren and bottomless pool called the Hole of Hell now fills up the funnel which formed his upward passage. He looked around from the lofty height into the far country, with the sagacity of a vulture in quest of his prey, directed his course to Jack's habitation. It was a sunny morning, and a heavy frost of some days' continuance had congealed all the waters, and rendered the surface of the land hard and slippery. Aware of Jack's wiles, he rapped at the door, and in a voice of thunder bid the miserable mortal come forth. I will go whithersoever your lordship commands me, he answered, awed by the threatening voice and formidable manner of his summoner. but the road is slippery, and you will permit me to fetch my cane. Besides, I would wish to kiss my wife and little ones before I go." The fiend was inexorable and urged the wretched being on before him. "If I walk without the support of a stick," he resumed, hobbling on before his captor, "I shall speedily break my bones. And if there are no carmen on the road to hell, how would your lordship wish to fetch my carcase on your princely shoulders? Oh, that I had even a bough from yonder sycamore to support my poor old limbs." To stay his murmuring and furnish the desired support, Satan laid hold on a fair branch of the tree, but immediately found that he was unable either to break the bough or quit his hold. And Jack, with a yell of joy, returned to fetch his favorite flail. In the words of the legend, whoever would come from the remote ends of the earth to hear the most fearful howlings, occasioned by the most dreadful castigation, would here have ample gratification. Jack broke his 3 best flails on the occasion, and though the miserable fiend cried loudly for mercy, he continued his toil till the going down of the sun, when, on his promising neither to seek Jack on earth or permit his entrance into hell, the arch-fiend was released, and the fortunate man retired to rest, more fatigued from that day's thrashing than ever he had before. Our story draws near its close. Jack, with all his skill, could not baffle the assault of death. He paid the debt of nature. But when his soul was dismissed to its final residence, the porter at the gate of the infernal regions stoutly denied him admittance. The fiends turned pale with affright, and even Satan himself fled within the lowest depths to hide his head from the dreaded enemy. Then, because he was unfit for heaven, and that hell refused to take him, he was decreed to walk the earth with a lantern to light him on his nightly way to the day of judgment. Such, reader, is the legend relative to the Jack-o'-the-lantern, commonly believed by the peasantry in many districts of Ireland. This is a story from Irish Fireside Stories, Tales and Legends, published in New York by P.J. Kenedy in 1881. And we have repeat commentators. So introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Natalie Lau. I'm the Scholarly Communications Librarian.
Hello, I'm Michael Murphy. I'm the Diplomacy Librarian.
I'm Laura Hapke. I'm the Gallery Collections Manager.
And
you are our hosts.
We are your hosts. I'm Martha. I'm the Special Collections Assistant.
I'm Jackie, the Technical Services Archivist. So yeah, this story is about Jack, as in Jack-o'-the-Lantern, who tricks 2 demons and the devil and then is thus banished from hell and also heaven. And the reason why he was banished from heaven, as the story says, is because he helped an angel and the angel gave him 3 wishes and he found fulfillment in his wishes. So he was then...
So he did... Wait. So he did what he was supposed to do and he got damned for it?
No, he did what he was supposed to do, but didn't understand the vast gift that was given to him and found fulfillment and happiness in the 3 wishes he had
So he was supposed to suffer with these wishes?
I don't know what he was supposed to wish for.
Was he supposed to not find, true happiness and only have true happiness in heaven? But then he found,
I think he found his,
joy.
true happiness and joy and everything with his 3 wishes. And it's just like, well, no.
Why do so many things remind me of Aladdin today? It's bad.
It's like, you weren't supposed to be that happy.
Yeah.
Wait, is that an Olivia Rodrigo song too? I think that is one. That is one. You weren't supposed to be happier with her than me. Blah, blah,
yes.
blah.
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo voice insert.
No,
I was thinking about how the pie is supposed to be in the sky when you die and not on Earth.
Pie?
Yeah.
The pie in the sky when you die? It's a song. It's a folk song. I
What
think
kind of pie?
Pete Seeger did it.
Pumpkin?
Ambiguous pie. Any kind of pie. Heavenly pie.
Yeah.
Sky pie.
Okay, nobody knows that song.
Sorry, it was dead.
There'll be pie in the sky when
we
you
should put in
die.
a cricket.
Yeah. Me doing
Anyway.
1930s references that nobody gets.
Jack-o'-lanterns. So I have to talk about this before I forget about it. But there's the Target Halloween decoration, and he's a jack-o'-lantern, but he has a voice, and he says, "Jack-o'-lantern, my name's not Jack, it's Lewis."
I
So when
wonder
you
if
guys
this is
told me
what,
this
if
is
that's how
jack-o'-lantern.
Jack in the story.
Well, I feel like Jack, they said, became a byword in the land.
That's
Supposed to be
funny.
me.
Does he have any other quips or no?
No, I don't think so. But there is a baby one because Michael is like pointing at the price, which he is pricey. There's like a little yeah,
Did you
baby
buy one?
Lewis light up pumpkin Halloween ghoul. He's $7, which is way better than the $126.
Oof.
That big Lewis.
We're
is.
not,
But
you know what?
we're
Big
not
Lewis is,
sponsored
like,
by Target
huge.
yet.
There's-
Target, reach out.
You know what? A library should buy that and put it in their library of things, because there's a library in Bergen County
Yeah.
that has the little dude that blows, like that blows up and wiggles all around.
The
like
wacky
car-
waving
the
inflatable arm
car
flailing tube
guy.
man.
Is
I
that
love
what it's
those.
really called?
I know that from
The car-
from
the
Family
car
Guy. Shout out
dealership.
to Family Guy.
Okay,
yes.
but yeah, the used car
yeah.
thing, and they have one, and you can if you're the resident of that town, you can check it out. So
That's
But-
amazing.
I can't, which is rude, but I
You
do
should
know
get
someone
them
who lives in that
to
town.
Get baby Lewis.
Yeah, might as
Yeah.
well. It's like a library of
cute.
things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
things.
But yeah, this is my favorite story though, Jack-o'-lantern, because
I thought
Then
the
it's
Potter
also-
was your favorite story.
Yeah, you keep flip flopping. Come on.
they're
Any
all
consistency
they are
here.
all my favorite story.
Don't lie to the Potters.
They're all my favorite story. But this one, because he also gets his coal to light his nightly way, and also brings into carving faces into turnips initially,
Mhm.
but now pumpkins to scare away the spirits on Halloween, All Hallows
Turnips
Eve,
stink.
and it's been an activity that's lasted for centuries
Yeah.
at this point.
I feel like are y'all good at carving pumpkins?
Yes.
Kind of.
I'm so. Me too, Michael. I'm so bad. I never
I'd
do
rather
it.
paint the pumpkin.
You know what? We're not gonna
And then
ask
turn
you
it
to
into
do the
pie.
skin belt then.
No, God, I have an eye for fashion. I just don't have the dexterity.
Yeah, but if
for
you
it.
need to cut the skin,
Well,
you-
listen.
and you can't cut a pumpkin.
This is going back to our I think it was the 3rd episode where we talk about a love spell that's found in one of our
no,
books.
it's day 5
Oh.
with the butter
Oh,
mystery.
this is the ankle to the forehead
The
thing, which
ankle to
didn't
the
make any
forehead.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it's the Dahmer belt thing.
Yeah.
Got
Yes,
it.
yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, so we're talking about making a skin belt, but apparently Jackie says I'm not good enough to do it.
Well,
so.
if you're struggling with carving a pumpkin, you may
I
not be the
am,
best choice.
Yeah.
But
to cut
pumpkin,
it.
no, okay.
I
From
feel
like experience, pumpkins are harder than like flesh.
Would you rather carve a pumpkin?
Wait,
or
but
a
how do you know that
Wait.
it's harder than flesh?
Also, this sounds more like a peeling a potato situation, where like if
Yeah.
you're really good at peeling a potato with like just one long
Yeah, but you'd
thing.
need,
Get a
you'd need to
curly
use a
cue.
paring knife here, so it's more like.
or a
Hair.
fillet knife.
Yeah, that's true. Underground is the answer to that.
that you carved flesh?
Yeah.
Oh, did you do like
I'm
anatomy
not
lab?
gonna follow.
Huh?
Did you do like anatomy lab?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's your curricular activity.
Well, this is not. I got credit for it.
Yeah, we'll just.
It was there was credit and there was a stipend involved.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So it's perfectly above
Yeah,
board legal.
Perfectly above.
I have
Flesh.
photos.
She got paid.
Perfect. Yeah.
Paid and credit.
And college credit.
So I
I know.
paid also technically.
Yeah.
Which is
Which
a
is
scam.
I don't like paying for internships for
Yeah.
when you're not gonna get paid. Like,
Well, they paid me
Well, I
not
mean-
enough, but you know,
no,
it
but I
was a
mean,
university stipend. so-
for Rutgers you have to pay, right?
yeah,
For
we
the
do.
yeah
for the
for the
continuing education for the credits.
no for
Oh.
library. The,
Yes.
Yeah, you had to pay for the internship.
Yeah.
Oh.
As
Yeah.
if it were a class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, you should change that.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear that, Rutgers?
Rutgers 8. I'm sorry, but also Seton Hall, because you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Universities
All
in general.
universities.
Or we'll stick a jack-o'-lantern at you.
A turnip jack-o'-lantern specifically.
jack-o'-lantern.
Because those stink more.
So Jack, wait, can we sorry guys, I actually didn't read this story. So can we get a summary? So he got cursed.
No, so he was returning home one night from a neighboring fair. Wow, I know that too hard. That's how many times I had to record that. And he came across, he was crossing a stream and he heard like some dude like dying on the banks, took him home, and then the next morning all the light shone through all the cabin, and it turned out he was an angel and he was there to watch over the sons of Adam and all of that, and was like, hey, I'm here to grant you 3 wishes since you helped me. And so Jack wished for, his armchair not to leave the ground, and anybody sitting in it would stay there until Jack said they could leave. Putting his hand into the box where he keeps his supplies to mend his brogues, that the box would never leave the wall and the person's hand inside would never leave until Jack said so. And then the tree outside, everybody was plucking a bough from, and so anybody with that intention would be stuck there until Jack released them.
Oh, okay. So
and then
was
bewitched items.
Yeah, so then
so Jack was being sinister.
yeah, Jack was being
I thought
Jack.
he was just like, oh, I wish that my family would be happy for the rest of their lives.
but his family,
Like,
family
that's something nice.
was okay.
His family was okay.
Yeah, his family was okay, and like the blessings remained with his house and his family, and his cattle throve and what all that.
But they were like,
But
you're
he-
cheating.
Well, no, it was, I don't know about cheating, but it was just like your wishes, like you failed to grasp.
I want to hear about his deal with the devil, though. Was that
Okay,
him,
so
too? Was it the same guy?
no, there wasn't no deal with the devil.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess he did
just,
in the
like-
end kind of make a deal.
Okay.
So basically, a demon was sent to fetch his soul because he was banned from heaven. So the demon sat in the armchair. Jack set his flail to him until the demon was like, no, okay, release me, and made a promise never to return to Earth to fetch him or anyone else on a similar errand. Second demon, same deal, but put his hand in the box. And same
And Jack
deal.
Can't,
And then, yeah, until,
Jack says so.
yeah, so they made the deal never to return on a similar errand. He gets released, and then the devil's like, hey, what's happening here? So he comes up and ends up putting his hand in the tree. And so then Jack's like, nah, you gotta
Have you guys ever watched the
go
show
away.
Lucifer? Because I'm imagining
No.
that
No.
depiction of Lucifer with the British accent and doing that.
I feel like that's really bad since this is an Irish tale.
It's
I mean,
ambiguous.
if you're Irish,
can
wouldn't the
share.
devil be English?
True.
That's true.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
That tracks to me.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he could he could pick his form supposedly in the show, but
Is this
you know,
from Idris Elba?
no, this is
What show am I thinking of?
Wait.
He's like a cop.
That's Luther.
Oh.
Okay, but I was also thinking it was Idris Elba.
Lucifer, like the
Yeah.
fallen
Okay,
angel.
guys, we've been recording for a couple hours now, and I'm fading.
I think we're
I'm sundown.
Almost 2.
Tom Ellis, handsome
Yes.
white British man.
Not Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jack. It sounded like Jack knew the kind
Yeah.
of deal that he was making, and he was like trying to protect himself. From,
yeah, but like, why wouldn't you just then not make those
this
wishes?
is why I don't help people.
Sharing is not caring.
Sharing is not caring. If I see you, I'm gonna walk away.
Well, unless you come up to the desk at the Seton Hall Archives, then
right.
she will help you.
I will help you
For
if
the
you have
on
an
the
appointment.
record.
But make an appointment. I don't want to turn you away, but I will.
Yeah. And if
But
you
yeah.
don't leave, then I'll come out and make sure you leave.
Yeah.
Well, my
Jackie's
favorite
the
thing.
real muscle.
Jack-
My
Jack is the
right?
muscle.
No, my favorite thing is that people would come for records management drop off, and this was when I was the special collections assistant, and Brianna was the records manager. Brianna Losardo, who's
Shout out Brianna.
Shout out
You know.
Brianna.
she used to work as the records manager, and so she would go on vacation, and she's like, "There's no scheduled drop offs. Don't take anything." And so someone would bring it by, and I said, "Do you have an appointment?" Knowing full well that there is no appointment, but they're like, "No,"
They
and
want
I
it
was just
now.
like, "Well, I can't take it," and they're like, "Why?" And I said, "Because I've been told I can't take
Yeah.
it, according to the records manager." They're like, "Oh," and they'd have like 10 boxes or something with them, maybe more like 6.
Mhm.
But they're like, "Oh, I brought this all the way across campus. You mean I have to bring it back?" And I
It's
said,
like, yeah.
"Yeah, yep." And then they just stared at me, and I was like, "I have my orders, and I'm
Yeah.
not breaking them."
I'm such a people pleaser. I'd be like, it's fine. I'll deal with it. No, actually, I'm kidding. Don't do that to me.
No.
Don't do that to me.
No. Otherwise, your hand will get stuck in the box or the
My hand will get
tree.
stuck in the box or the tree. I'm still
Well,
like,
no, not it. Well, what?
No,
Oh,
we're
I'm
making
just-
this happen.
I'm
Like,
relating it
your
back to
hand
the
will
story.
get stuck in.
The thing
the
is, it's like
box.
I'm not gonna help you unless you're a fairy that's like, do you wanna come with me and get away from all the airs of the world? Then I'd be
So
like,
you're gonna
yeah,
leave
and
us
that's how
to
I become a
log the wood
changeling.
instead?
That's how I
So-
become
Yeah.
a changeling.
But like, what if the angel? This is also ties back to a class I had here at one
Yeah.
point with someone named Father Holmes. It was like, if an angel came down with a bus and it went to heaven, would you get on?
Sure.
But
The most non-committal answer.
What kind of
Just
bus?
wants to be
Okay,
free
Is
from
this a
worldly
bus with like a
concerns.
toilet and
No,
like
like,
TV or
okay,
like
just
maybe?
imagine the angel came down and was like, "Hey, you get to go to heaven right now. You coming?" And
What
like,
kind of bus?
okay, forget the bus.
Does that count as suicide though? That's what I'm worried
Oh,
about.
No, because
We're getting
Well,
philosophical.
no, because you're not.
Is
always
it ascension
philosophical.
of Mary style? You just go to, you don't die.
Mm,
You
yeah,
just-
you
I would miss my family though.
I
Yeah,
think they
oh,
would
wait,
miss
no,
you
no, no.
too.
Wait,
Wouldn't
no.
you miss your family
Let's
if you
go
were kidnapped
grief.
by the Fae though?
Wait. Yes, that. or coming in.
I'm
The Fae are her new family.
I'm stunned to silence.
I'm gonna get a new career in journalism.
Hard-hitting pieces all night.
Laura, you're really like, you're doing gotcha journalism to me right now. This is my half of my podcast.
I am a
Oh, wait.
guest in your house.
You're a guest.
But the other thing with what was proposed to us, the angel came down. You can go to heaven straight away, and they were like, "Yeah, but what?" Kids in the class were like, "What about my family?" And he's like, "There's a message on the wall that says you're all right. You can go to heaven." He's like, "How many of you are going?"
I feel like my mom would still be really sad. Like
My
if she
mom would
just
be
got
really-
like a letter that said Laura went to heaven, she'd be pretty messed up about it.
Akatar. This happened in Akatar. A court of thrones and thorns and blah blah blah.
Are we talking about that book?
Those
A
books.
fairy book, yeah.
MAAS, Mass?
Yeah,
Moss?
yeah.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
read
I
them.
love how half of them
I
are
remember the
in
first
young
one. Don't
adult.
read past that.
Half of them are in young adult, or some of them, and then they get
should. None of
no,
them
no,
should
no,
be
and
young
then they get
adult.
transferred to adult.
Yeah. They were in young adult in my public library,
All
and
of
I was
them?
concerned. Yes, and I was like, I took a picture of it. I was like, I don't think this should be there, and I sent it to my friend who's a public librarian, like in the same system, and she's like, yeah, even in the system, it's like kind of like all over the place. Some of them are in
Well,
YA, some of them are in adult.
Yeah, it depends on the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and their policy. I think they should read them.
Now
before
I
they do
have
that.
Okay, I'm going back to the story because how did we get so where does the carving come in now into the
Well, he
story?
needs a
It doesn't.
face.
No, it doesn't. The story ends there. It doesn't include the carving. I just know that from
Oh.
other stories
then
of a
where-
jack-o'-lantern, he like carves out a turnip to put this coal into.
Oh, so
And
the,
then
so
because-
the demons can't come and try to take him.
No, no one's. Because he's
free.
been banned. Well, no, he's wanders the earth until final judgment day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Okay.
banned from heaven, banned from hell because the devil's like, oh no, you've tricked me.
Yeah.
And so he gets a coal to light him on his nightly way.
Oh.
And according to another story, he carves a turnip, puts it in the turnip. And then jack-o'-lanterns are carved, but also carved in spooky manners to
Wait,
keep
the
away the
walking
spirits.
the earth until final judgment day, that was also in Lucifer. It was one of the
Not
biblical
Luther.
people. Not Luther. No, the two brothers, but like one of them.
Cain and Abel?
Yeah, it was.
Cain.
Is that the one that doesn't die?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like walking around the earth, being like, "I hate my life. I want to die," but he can't. So like,
Yeah,
You know
he's,
what?
like,
that's
granted
that's the
immortality.
traditional story for him,
Oh,
I think.
wait.
And also
It's
there's
hard.
also the myth which is unfortunately a little anti-Semitic, but the wandering Jew is another person
Oh.
who's like doomed to walk the earth for
Forever.
all eternity until Judgment Day and blah blah blah. It's a pretty
That
common.
sounds like Simon from the Mortal Instruments.
It's a pretty common like old trope in I think Christian myth.
Well, that tracks here. Too,
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Mhm.
So how does it? Because like sometimes I feel like Sleepy Hollow with the headless horseman, like he gets the pumpkin too sometimes. But these stories are not related in any way.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Interesting.
no. It's also a turnip and not a pumpkin.
In Sleepy Hollow?
No, in
Oh,
this
in this one?
In this one.
Yeah, but later the tradition becomes pumpkin.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
pumpkins
why
are
did-
Well,
bigger.
you can also do it.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, why did it change?
Well,
They could-
pumpkin.
could you
Where are
water
pumpkins
vessels?
native to? Are pumpkins native to the Americas?
Yeah,
I think
I think
so.
they are, yeah.
So in which case, it makes sense that like
Oh.
Irish
Well-
would be like turnip.
Wow, someone has
Or-
more brain cells.
Or
today than me.
potatoes.
Yeah,
Also
do they
native
carve,
to
do
the
they carve
Americas,
into
but-
potatoes?
They would. I mean, I've also seen people carve apples.
And potatoes
Yeah.
are also New World.
That's so much
Oh,
harder.
potatoes
Potatoes
are
are
New
New
World.
World.
They are, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But the Irish got them,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then they
That
had a
was
family.
The Prussians got them too, and they had to.
It
So
was kind of a political thing.
North Germans, the king
Yeah.
of Prussia, had to trick his peasants to wanting potatoes because he knew that they were a cheap and easy crop to have, and the way
And
he did it,
nutritious.
yes. So he made a royal garden and he posted a guard, but told the guards to let anyone in, and so people stole the potatoes from the royal garden and then started growing.
Oh my god, that's great.
It's
That's how you hype up a
disinformation.
root
I was gonna
vegetable.
say, to cause like
Scarcity.
yes.
What is it called? Like
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, where scarcity makes something
Yeah.
valuable.
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
Kind of. But there's another word for it when something being scarce makes it super hyped up. Like there are
Yeah.
only 400
Stanley
of
Cups.
these sneakers.
It's
Yeah.
Stanley Cup.
It's that,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Or rare
Exclusivity.
books.
Yes.
Or rare books.
Exclusivity. I think that might
Is it really?
Exclusivity.
Maybe.
Is
Oh,
probably
Yeah.
that
It gets at the idea.
I feel like there is a phrase. Somebody comment in the
Oh wait.
put in the
Yeah,
comments if
econ
there's a real
majors.
phrase that me and Martha are thinking about.
we have 4 brain cells dancing
There's
between
5
the
of us.
5 of us. Yeah, I'm not counting myself because I have none.
Well, I think all 4 of them are with Michael for that.
Yeah,
one,
Michael is holding them all right
That's
now.
also a really good potato story.
This might be a stupid question, but Prussia would be Germany, right?
Yeah, northern
Or-
Germany.
yeah. That explains why my family loves potatoes.
I love potatoes.
We are
too,
German, so it's like
but I'm not German.
that's fine.
Well, wait,
Fantastic. I'm also not German.
Oh my god.
No, but my mom will understand that. Hi, Mom.
Shout out,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom.
Shout out to Jackie's mom.
Yeah. Thanks for always commenting on my Facebook. or liking
Or liking them.
or liking
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe
so
she can vote in the DEIA posters.
I've been posting, so
Mom, you can. I'll
Sorry.
show you.
So we also read this legend before. It's also available. We did this a couple years ago where a student read this
Yeah.
book, right? That's also
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yep.
So you can check that out
Yeah.
as well.
Cool.
Are we wrapping?
I don't think I have anything else on Jack O'Lantern.
Why is his name Jack? Is it just because it's common and like it's a nickname for John, or like?
I would
Let's
say
just
that's
wait.
pretty.
Because you mentioned something about Kennedy too, right? And obviously, I have to go to like. the
Jack is
American-
also John Kennedy.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
John.
yeah, no, but you said something about Kennedy when you were introducing the story.
They are published by Kennedy, PJ Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he related to like the famous Kennedys?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
unfortunate. Shout out Jack Schlossberg.
Reading the etymology, the term jack-o'-lantern was originally used to describe the visual phenomenon foolish fire, aka will-o'-wisp. And that's the earliest known use from the
will-o'-wisp.
1600s. And it was only in the Queen Victoria's time that it was used to describe a lantern carved from turnips or pumpkins. And I don't know why it's
Wait, did
Jack.
you
You
say
didn't
like
want to do the Latin?
I took...
Ignis Fatuus. That's not that hard.
did you say like Will-o'-the-Wisp?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those
I
little
didn't know those
sprites.
were related to jack-o'-lanterns.
I didn't know that either.
That's really cool.
Is it wait, yeah.
That was just
Is
the
it because they're like
terminology.
Yeah, they had the term used to describe will-o'-the-wisp was later used to apply to jack-o'-lanterns.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
So it was a different word for will-o'-the-wisps.
Yes.
They're also
In
like
East
if
England.
you look up the meaning of Jack, I mean like it has a few ones, but also supplanter is one, and they're kind of like trick people.
Oh.
So like that could be it too, which would make
Oh.
sense.
because
Okay.
it's trying to stave
Yeah.
off spirits and
Supplanter,
things like
yeah.
that. All right. Well, if you want to know more, or you have your own jack-o'-lantern, or you want to share your jack-o'-lanterns too, comment below. And thanks for joining. Oh, happy Halloween too! It's Halloween today.
Yes. Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween!
All right, thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
And that's it for Spooky Stories. Thank you so much for having joined us for the past 11 days. We hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we have enjoyed creating these. Remember, we are your hosts, Jackie and Martha. And if you enjoyed this mini-series, be sure to share and follow us on social media at SHU_libraries. That's SHU_libraries. Until next time, until next year, keep your curiosity alive, and remember, the library holds more than just books. Some stories may linger long after the lights go out.